Diane, Kate Krieger-Watkins here with another edition of The Scoop from Mason County Press, brought to you by Betten Baker Ford and West Shore Bank. And today I'm joined by Diane Salters, who is a social worker at Community Mental Health. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So we're talking about the MyStrength app that CMH has kind of rolled out. When did you guys actually decide to do this?
Yeah, so we started this project during quarantine, and we just felt like during quarantine, obviously COVID-19 has impacted a lot of individuals, and we felt like an app could be really helpful as an addition to the services that we already have, so that we could just help support people during this really hard time. And so we launched it probably a couple of months into quarantine.
Okay. And it's an app that's developed to basically help anybody with any kind of, struggle. And you don't have to be a client at mental health, right?
Nope. This is for our community members, as well as even for CMH staff. Anyone can use this app. And we do have an access code for people if they want to use this app. Do you want me to say that now?
Sure.
Okay, so it's it's all capital WMCMH and then community, so capital C, lowercase OMMUNITY. So when you sign into the app, you just have to provide an email, and then they're going to ask you for an access code, and that's the access code that you put into it. So okay. WMCMH community.
Okay, we can list that with the story too, so people can find that too. So I've downloaded the app and I find it's really cool because it's very specific. You enter kind of the things that you want to target and to like get help with or read about or anything like that. So talk us through kind of what the app looks like, what it targets, kind of what the outcomes are of that.
Yeah, so when you first log in, they're always going to ask you some questions of how you're feeling, how you're doing. It's a Likert scale of 1 to 5, and they just ask you those questions all the time. You can skip it, obviously, but they do track it to see how your moods are.
Sure. Okay.
And then when you enter the app, you usually focus on one focus area. So it could be depression, anxiety, stress, and they actually even have a COVID-19 section as well.
Okay.
Kind of just work through it. They ask you a couple of questions. They have worksheets, kind of just something to do when, if you're feeling sad, when you're feeling down, you can go onto the app and work on some coping skills to help you process through it.
Sure. And I've noticed too that they send you kind of like updates and they check on you through it, which is it's really kind of a cool thing. And it helps not only with like worksheets and activities to do, but it also gives like calming exercises and, mood kind of stress reliever kind of things too, which I find to be really, it's helpful. COVID has been really rough for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people have the misconception of like, oh, it's from community mental health. So it has to be, you have to be a client or you have to be like diagnosed with something. And that's definitely not the case with this. It's open to everybody. And it's very, from substance abuse issues to depression, to anxiety, to COVID, to just managing stress. It's a great app.
I think, we're in a new year. And so I know a lot of people have new goals. And a lot of times people, taking care of yourself is a huge goal for people. And I think this app does help with that. The mindfulness, the breathing exercises, those are just a few minutes out of your day just to take care of yourself. And we all need to do that. And sometimes the different stresses of life, and especially during this time of uncertainty, it's kind of nice just to take a little breather, take a break, and maybe use the app to do some of the exercises on there.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about self-care? I think, it is really important. And especially if you're in a high stress job, which I know you are, with being a social worker, especially now, it's very stressful doing everything remotely. But why is self-help and self-care so important for everybody?
One of the things that I like to say a lot is if you don't take care of yourself, it's really hard to take care of other people. And so I usually emphasize the ability to kind of just, even if, during a work day, it's you getting up, going outside, taking a walk, even though it's really cold, the cold air kind of slaps you in the face and like kind of brings you back to reality sometimes, of just like stepping away from what you're doing. I just think that it's super important for us to take care of ourselves, not just our bodies, but also our mind, so that we're sharp and we can be the best version of ourselves. And without that self-care, sometimes we end up just struggling through some things, and it's hard. It's hard.
It is. It can be hard, and you get so overwhelmed, and sometimes you get so into what you're doing at work, you kind of, you have those times where you look at the clock and you're like, holy cow, it's been 3 hours, but it becomes very stressful. And sometimes you don't even realize it, that you need it. Just to, like you said, get up and just kind of walk out and just take 5 minutes just to kind of revamp there. So what is the website, and can they download the app from like an app store?
Yep. So you can go onto Google or Apple and look up MyStrength. It's all one word. It's like a blue little square. Or you can go onto our website. We have a section on our website where you can click on it. It takes you directly to the website. So you can either use it as an app or as a web browser, as like on your computer.
Okay. And what is the website for CMH?
Yep. So wmcmh.org.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not confident on that. I probably should look that up. I'm sorry.
I think it's wmcmhs.org, because I think there's a
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
There's an S. So wmcmhs.org.
We will list that as well too. Yes. It's very long, so, and wordy, but that's okay. And it will get people to where they need to go and everything. So have you used the app yourself?
I cannot preach about it unless I've used it myself. So yes, I have used it. I've used the mindfulness and the breathing techniques on there. You're right. Our work can be very stressful sometimes. And I want to be an example and set an example. And if we are, telling staff to use this app, I probably should be using it myself and making sure that I'm using it.
And you find it to be helpful in the times of stress and everything?
Yeah, I think that how can it not, when you just take a few minutes for yourself, just to even take a few deep breaths, and
you need that. I mean, it's definitely that time of uncertainty with COVID, and people are having a hard time. Hopefully things are getting better, but this too can just help, relieve some of that stress. So that's pretty awesome. So, well, I want to thank you for joining me today. I know you don't love doing these, but I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything that, CMH has been doing for the 3 counties that they cover, Mason, Lake, and Oceana counties. So that's been great. And if you ever need help with any kind of mental health, or, need help downloading the app or anything, I'm sure you could either go to the website or call them. What's the phone number for CMH?
Yep, it's 231-845-6294.
Okay.
And if you just call and just say, I have a MyStrength question, they probably will just email me or transfer the call to me, and I can try to problem solve and help out.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Okay. For any other news, check out MasonCountyPress.com, and our weather is always brought to you by Smith & Eddy Insurance. And go on to the App Store and check out the MyStrength app, brought to you by West Shore Community Mental Health Systems. It can help you out during stressful times and just kind of take your mind off of COVID and all the struggles people have been dealing with.